Hi guys, so for all of you guys in virtual land, this video is to help guide you through the virtual lab on horizontal projectile motions. So I'm going to pull up the lab for today. I'm just going to look at my entire screen. Okay, so first things first, in order to access the lab, you're going to click here where it says the word here, okay? When you click this link, you will see this window here, okay? So when you go back to the instructions, if you look right here at the picture, it tells you to click the lab section. So you're going to click lab, and when you click it, it's going to bring you here, okay? So before we play with the PhET lab, let's go through the instructions. So you will have to type your responses. Your responses are indicated in different colors, and the colors are already there for you. If you want to change the colors, you can. If not, just fill in the blanks and we'll see your answers. Okay. You will use complete sentences and also have units for full credit. Some of the blanks that you have to fill in have the units provided for you. So that's half the work already done for you. And then also there are sentence stems to where all you have to do is fill in the blank with your answer. And then now you have a complete sentence as your answer. Okay. So we're going to go back to the PhET lab. Okay, we're going to look at letter E that says make sure gravity is set at 9.81 meters per second. And we need to make sure that the air resistance box is not checked. So I'll go here where it says gravity. It's at 9.81. And then my air resistance needs to be unchecked. Okay, so that way when the object falls, we don't have air resistance acting against the object that's falling. Okay, but that's for another lesson. All right, next section says look at the crosshair measuring tool. You can click and drag the tool into the area. So here's a picture of where your crosshair measuring tool is inside this white box that's at the top of your PhET lab. And here's a screenshot of me moving that crosshair tool to, measure what I need to measure on the object's trajectory, okay? So let's look at it here. I'm just going to play around with the settings that's already here. I'm going to hit the red button, boom, and it falls. This is the crosshair tool. And what's good about this, it saves you a lot of the calculations that you will have to do. So if you can see this green dot up here, and it won't let me do that. So you take the crosshair tool and measure it right here, and you see how it lights up. You're at the max height of the cannonball's trajectory or its path. So you see the time that it took for the ball to make it to that point. You see how far out it traveled, 5.65 meters. And then you see how high it traveled, and that's the height of 16.02. So that's just showing you the purpose of this tool. And you can drag it to the different points that you see along the trajectory. Okay. This orange button right here at the lower right hand corner is to reset. And it just resets it how it is, and you can change the settings and do whatever you have to do. Okay. All right. So the way that the lab is sectioned off, the first question will call for you to calculate it on your own. Then where it says back to the PhET, that's up here. Okay, this is the PhET lab. So first thing you're going to calculate, hey, this golf ball is dropped from a height of 10 meters. How long does it take to hit the ground? Well, if you see anything with the word drop or something is falling, that's free fall. And the one word you want to think about when you see free fall is gravity. Okay. So I gave you the equation, which is V equals 1/2 AT squared. And we're talking about an object that's falling. And that key word to think about is gravity, okay? Which is this number up here, okay? So you're going to calculate how long it took for the golf ball to hit the ground. This is what you're doing on your own. Do not go to the PhET lab just yet. Do this on your own. Once you calculate your time, you're going to place it here in the orange blank. You see here, I did not give you the units, so you need to make sure you put your number and the unit of seconds as your answer, okay? Number two, where it says back to the PhET lab, I'll make sure I include that word in. We're going to go back to the PhET lab. It says for us to lift the cannon 10 meters. We're going to change the angle to 0 degrees, and the speed is going to be 0 meters per second. Okay, so let's go do that. Here's my cannon. It says we need to do it to 0 degrees, so we can't do that yet. But when you click on this plus, you can raise it up. Now we can decrease the angle to 0. And down here where it says initial speed, we're going to move it all the way to 0. Let me make sure that I have what I need to have. 10 meters is where I lift it. My angle is 0. And my speed is 0. I'm going to press red. And this is what we get. So you're going to take the crosshair tool, put it at the bottom of the path so you can get the full amount. So this little dot here, the last dot that you see, this is where you will place the middle of that crosshair tool. Oops. Okay, so right here, it gives you the time. That time you're going to place right here. For part A, that's in blue. Make sure you include the units. Part B says, is your answer the same as in question number 1? So what you're doing, you're comparing what you calculated in number 1 to the time that you get when you put the crosshair tool right here. So here it gives us 1.43 seconds. I'll give you that one for number 2. And you need to see what you calculated. Does it match up to 1.43? So if you get other numbers that's close to 1.43, if you get like 1.44, maybe 1.48, 0.45, that's okay, because we have to consider the fact that you may have rounded your answers, okay? But if you get something that's like 1.3, 10, 15, 200,000, then you know something is wrong with your calculation, okay? And then here for part B, question 2, part B, this is your sentence stem to fill in the blank. Hey, my answer is the same as question 1, or you'll put my answer is not the same as question 1. So you would just pick one of these to fill in the blanks for, and that would be it, okay? Number 3, it says calculate your own using the table below. If you see the table here, and if you paid attention to last week's lessons, and even on Monday, you've seen this table to help you organize the information for your projectile motion problems. You have your horizontal and you have your vertical, okay? I also color coded what they're asking you to solve for, and I have it also in this table. So for part A, it's saying how long is the object in the air? Well, if you look at the table and you see the color of the time and the how long, hey, this is where I need to look for. That's where I will place my answer. Or you can place it here in that sentence stem. Okay? But the fact that this is the first thing you have to solve for, that lets you know time is the first thing you need to solve for because it's listed first. Okay? Then it asks for the horizontal range of the object. Well, if you see the word range, you know that's some type of distance. And we specifically told you where to go, and that's underneath the horizontal. So you will have to do what you have to do in order to solve for your time and your horizontal range. Okay? Then you're going to go back to the PhET lab and you're pretty much doing what you calculated again. Okay? If that confuses you, just look at the problem. So number 3, we're launching horizontally with 15 meters per second from a height of 6 meters. This is what you're going to, information that you're going to have when you have to calculate. When you go back to the PhET lab, it's telling you raise the cannon to 6 meters, which is the height that we're tossing it from in number 3. And then we're also going to change the speed to 15 meters per second, which is the same speed that you have in number 3. Okay, so catch the pattern. You're calculating, and then you're going to use those same conditions and put it in the PhET lab and just compare your calculations. Okay, so remember here, you can adjust the height of the cannon. You can adjust the speed. You can also try the different balls. So if they're telling you a golf ball, change it to golf ball. If it says baseball, change it to baseball. And that's my fault for not mentioning that. So you do need to change the balls based on what the problem is saying. So number 1 was saying golf ball, change it to golf ball. Number 3 and 4 are talking about baseball, so then you need to change this to baseball. Okay. Number 5 and number 6, you don't have to do any calculations, but we do want you to just make a guess. So for 5 and 6, all you're doing is changing some information around based on what you have for number 4. So number 5 says we're going to double the height. Keep the same velocity, but only thing we're changing is the height, and we want you to guess on how that would affect the range. Okay, so how far out would this baseball go if I was to double the height? Okay, so you would do that on the PhET lab. You would take your tool and measure that out. So I won't do it for you. Then you need to compare your answers to number 4 and see if there's any relationship. Hey, when I doubled my height, did my time double? Did my time cut in half? Did it multiply by 4? Did it divide by 4? Those are the type of answers that we're looking for 5B and for 6C. Okay. Speaking of 6C, for number 6, we're keeping that same doubled height. Now we're just going to double the speed that was originally 15. Now we're going to double it to 30. Now you're going to see the new times and the new range, and you're just going to compare. And I'm telling you what to compare your numbers to. Okay, compare it to 6A. That should not be 6A. That should be 4A. I apologize. So we're going to compare these numbers to 4A based on what you got in the PhET lab with the original dimensions. Okay. And that's all you will have to do for the lab. Just make sure you submit when you're finished inputting all of your answers. If you want to show the work that you did for numbers 1 and 3, take a picture of it and put it down here because it takes a lot to try to type in the work that you have to do. If you can type in the work, great. But if not, take a picture. Just show us, your teachers, that you understand how to solve the problems. And even if you don't, that gives us information so we can reach out to you guys and see, how we can help you understand. Okay. So I hope this video helps you understand what to do with the virtual lab. If you have any issues and if you're still confused, reach out to your teachers. Okay. You cannot stress that enough. Reach out to your teachers. And if your teacher is not available, hey, my name is Miss Hubbard. My email, dahubbard@aldingisd.org. I'm available to help as well. Thank you.